Hi, welcome back. Hopefully welcome back, because this is part 2. This is Act 2, probably part 1 of Act 2, because I got clotheslined by COVID. Like, wow, if you follow me, you are probably aware. I don't want to say I nearly died, but fuck, I nearly died. So I'm still pretty tired. I am better. I am not contagious. Don't worry, you're not going to catch it. You can take the mask off. I'm clean. But yeah, I am more tired than I expected. So I'm going to cut this game in 2 so that I don't die. Anyway, back to where we always begin and introducing our lovely players. If you could, from the top downwards, so alphabetically, introduce yourself and your characters, please.
Hello, everyone. I am Cartoon Kitsune. I am once again playing Ida Sliff, local spirit medium and legal aid, and she's doing fine. She's just totally fine right now.
Doing super good. Just so good. Really
so good right now, you guys. Not no problems at all.
I'm Samaranth, and I'm playing Griffin Left, lawyer, who is, not doing fine. He was kidnapped, and it was a very stressful trial. But he's not doing as rough as Ida is. So sorry.
They've both kind of been through very similar things before, so you could say that this is kind of your thing, like this is a normal trial for these two. Mm-hmm. For anybody else, it would be somewhat worse in its own way, or maybe the PTSD makes it worse for them. Anyway, so if you haven't listened to part
Chris probably got some stuff to unpack, but right now he's pushing through all right. So
if you haven't
listen, the prosecution hasn't tried to whip us yet, so I count that as a win.
That's true.
Honestly, I'd prefer it if it was her and not this guy, but yeah.
Fair enough.
Right, Act 1 will be linked in the description. Y'all get on that. But to very quickly summarize, so they have been these wonderful very professional lawyer team who always have a wonderful time and do everything right and legally. Well, actually, in the scope of what counts as legal in Toonkind legal systems, especially the Yakuza legal system, actually, it's fine. Anyway, they basically got a requisition to be one Deltasong Danger's defense team, which was interesting in itself because Delta has supposed to be dead for the past 3 years, or was it 4? I don't know. Time is a lot right now.
I think it was 3.
It was 3. Good. 3 is a magic number. But yeah, it's not going well. Everything seems to point to him having, accidentally or otherwise, exploderated and therefore caused the death of the former and much beloved Yakuza boss, who was called Chuck L. Muscle, who is a purple orangutan of great fame and fortune. And yes, there was an evening where Delta was invited by Chuck to the top of the Yakuza, former Yakuza HQ, which was a big tower, and it went bang! In a big way, big bang, big explosion, and then Chuck was no more, and even Delta thought that he had exploderated the bus, even witnessed the shattering silhouette of Chuck in cartoon Warner Brother fashion, in just like not the funny fashion, like no googly eyes, just soot, and ran away and pretended he had died so that the Yakuza would not be inclined to try and kill him because he was already dead. Can't kill you if you're already dead. But then he had a change of heart, and now he's in court for this murder that he may very well have committed. You have somehow managed to spin out the trial until the engineer, Screw McCodger, and the Professor Vudlig have all come to your rescue. So they're going to stall even more. Fortunately, they're all kind of used to dancing about in courts. Screw McCodger and the engineer aren't exactly getting along for this very reason, but that's a whole other story we'll have to cover later. So you are leaving the tent under the guidance and indeed basically you're being guarded so that you don't run away by these two Toonkind ponies who are also unicorns and definitely don't belong to any other copyright type things that would sue the hell out of me. They are called Skim and Scam, totally original characters, do not steal, and they are taking you to this tertiary location. You've already been taken to a secondary location, this is the tertiary. They have blindfolded you and put you aboard their Skim Scam Brothers Super Squeezy, the Skim Scam Brothers Super Speedy OJ Squeezy 6000 to get them to this location. So you don't know, like, where you are or where you're going. Which is a bit, like, pointless, because apparently the engineer and everybody else already figured out how to get to where you are. We don't know how, we're just rolling with it. Okay. So, yeah, you are once again being blindfolded and taken somewhere. Would you like to talk to each other, all these ponies, on the way, or would you just like to be at the tertiary location and start?
I think we have a few... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say it might be a good idea to talk. Can I check in with each other after what happened at the trial?
You go ahead.
So... Nah, maybe not the best time for it, but hey, Ida, I'm sorry. I feel like I kind of put you on the spot with the channeling thing in there, and I just, like, I want to check in. Are you doing all right?
I mean, well, it's too bad it didn't work out for us, but, I mean, at least we got another chance to turn things around, right? That's not all bad.
Yeah. I mean, last minute, rescues are not exactly a new experience for us, I suppose. Yeah. Do we really have to be blindfolded for this part?
Well, we have our contracts,
say-
you see. We're under legal obligation to make sure that you don't cause any more problems. And, the unicorns are laughing about something. They keep whispering to each other about something.
I was going to say, Griff, real quick, do you want to try rolling an insight on Ida?
Yeah, for sure.
Mm.
Oh gosh, I always forget how to do this. Marble.
Insight rolls, first roll of the game.
Oh,
Ooh,
hey.
very nice.
I mean, yeah, you insight the shit
Yeah.
out of Ida.
Yeah, so Griff, so you think that after, like, what happened with, like, the failed channeling, you'd think that, like, Ida would be, like, a lot more broken up about it, like, like, visibly, like, kind of messed up about the whole thing. But weirdly enough, she's kind of been her usual chipper self. In fact, it's kind of, like, almost dissonant, like, how that she's being this way. It doesn't really make sense for her to be like this, and you know her well enough that, like, she's always kind of been the type to kind of, do her best to smile when things get bad. Like, and even, like, when you guys are up against the wall and it seems like your client's about to get, the guilty verdict. But even so, like, with this, at this point, like, you think it might not be, like, just putting on a brave face. You think there's a good chance she might be hiding, like, how she's actually feeling about this whole thing.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, it's like this. Does this remind me of how she might have been acting after, like, I don't know how to say this in character, the end of the third game?
Yeah, I'd say probably, like, similar to that.
Yeah.
I think for that one, it was like she was trying to put on a brave face in front of her cousin.
Yeah, okay, so this is less, like, this is more, like, actual, like, it's not just a brave face, she's in fact, like...
Yep. What you gonna do? Repress it!
Yeah, she's repressing. Okay, yeah.
Speaking of pressing, the Super Speedy OJ Squeezy 6000 makes another amazing collection of squeaky, squawky noises and jolts to a stop, and you have reached your destination. These rather wizardly type ponies remove your blindfolds with their magic, and you are at the former Yakuza headquarters. Would you like to roll perception?
I would love to roll perception.
I am neutral to rolling perception.
Fun fact, all of this is happening in the middle of the night, and it's dark. It's like there's a half moon, but it's not.
Holy cow, that is a nat 20, folks!
Ooh, okay, never mind.
Wow.
You are perceiving.
I don't really feel that I need to, but, you know.
Yeah, 16. 16 does it anyway. Because you have arrived expecting to see the tower. There is no tower. There is what appears to be the base of what might have been a round building. Looks like there might have been like a gatehouse to one side of it, and you can kind of figure out, with that 20, you can definitely figure out where the door used to be. And you suddenly realize why everyone in the court started laughing when the suggestion of you going to investigate the crime scene came up, and you understand why the jester let you come here, because there was a very big explosion. The tower collapsed.
Okay, well, this is not the end of
Ideal.
the world. We have
Yeah.
ways of dealing with this.
At this point,
That
I'm going
is
to ask
true.
you, in the previous encounter you had with Alibi, you
Yes, indeed.
actually came away with a wonderful little reward. Which one of you might have kept hold of that, do you think?
I think we decided Ida has that, because, Griff has the Magatama, so Ida gets a little magic stone of her own.
Okay, so
And actually, funnily enough, the Skim Scan brothers would recognize this stone that Ida is going to pull out of her pocket, because one of them almost picked it off of her when they were taking their gold for their admission fees.
that's true, and they didn't know what it was, thank goodness. So would you like to describe the object that you have felt glowing warmly in your pocket when you have arrived at this scene?
Yes. So for anybody who's seen the movie Coraline, you know that little green stone that she gets, kind of like triangular but with rounded edges, and it's got the little hole in the middle. It's similar to that, but this one's more of like kind of like a sort of like a crystally, like kind of a light blue and white kind of crystally color, and it has the little hole in the middle of it.
Yeah. If you cast your mind back, this stone is made of something called celestite. You're not really sure what that is, but the point of this stone, and the point why it's so important and valuable, it's the only one of its kind in the world, as far as you know. In fact, like, that was basically confirmed for you. There's a unique item. When you look through the hole, you can see things as they used to be. You can't see living things because they change so much. It's like you see like blurs implying the action of living things. A bit like in stop motion where you see the animator in the background with the characters moving at a normal speed. You see these blurry shadow people. It's kind of like that. Definitely not on purpose. But yes, so you have this rather useful object.
Yeah.
Actually, that's going to be interesting for the Skim Scan brothers' perspective, because like they probably came here thinking that we'd like immediately be disheartened, but we're like not even phased.
Yeah, they started laughing, and now they're like, well, this is disappointing. Like, what's the game? What's the game? I warn you, if you're just planning to scarper, we have means of preventing it. And they start, like, their horns start glowing, and they seem actually kind of threatening for a moment.
Whoa, easy there. We're not going to do that.
Yeah, that's fine. We have to investigate. We're not going to run away. We have a trial to win.
Investigate away! You see, you've got the complete scenery before you. You can look at all of the stones. Aren't they pretty? Look at all that moss growing on them.
Yeah. We're going to look around a bit, but after that, we are going to have a few questions for you as well. You were apparently at the scene of the crime when it happened, and no one thought that was relevant till the very end of the trial. So,
Well,
we would like
considering
to
how
ask you some
damning
stuff
the
about that.
evidence was, we thought we weren't particularly necessary, especially with Noxum. I mean, Noxum remembers everything. Oh, yes, Noxum remembers everything.
I mean, not to be rude, you're spellcasters who were at the scene of the crime. never mind.
But you see, and Scam. He sort of taps the side of his head and is like, you see, I actually remember that Chuck said that he was definitely going to turn on the anti-magic spell because he was inviting a sorcerer over for tea, and Chuck was quite careful about that sort of thing. I don't think he would have forgotten, so, magic completely out of the question. Oh, yes, absolutely, and the entire tower was planned to be able to be used without magic, but we'll let you try and find that out for yourself, won't we? Oh, yes, we will. Oh. They are really annoying.
I mean, that's a pretty big contradiction right there, because the prosecution's been saying that the murder weapon was a spell from our client. So if the anti-magic field was up, then how the heck did he kill Chuck?
Nitpicker doesn't know what he's talking about half the time. We just ignore him mostly.
Why'd you let him be the... I mean, it's actually really refreshing to see the prosecution get no respect. Honestly, this is great.
Like, I mean, you got the sense of this when you were in court that nobody, including the jester, likes Nitpicker. He is just like, as soon as he starts saying, everyone's like, oh my god, this guy. But he is undoubtedly the most qualified person to be the prosecutor because he knows every single rule, sub-rule, by-rule, and every petty little incident that has happened in the history of the Yakuza. In fact, Nitpicker is immortal. Fun little
Makes sense.
Anyway, there you go. So you can talk to these very trustworthy witnesses from the crime scene, or you can look at the crime scene.
I was gonna ask, do we want to handle interviewing these guys first?
I think we should look around first, if only so that we can find things that we might then present to them when we interview
That's
them.
true. Good call. So I guess we enter the building then.
Okay. Very obvious question. Do you look through the stone?
Nah, I don't think we need it, you guys.
Nah.
Let's look around at the rubble.
Yeah. I mean, you can look at the rubble. Would you like to investigate the rubble?
I think you'll do a cursory glance before we bring up the stone.
Okay, sure. Roll me investigation.
Alrighty.
Investigation score.
That is 7 for Mita.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, at least it's a lucky number.
Yeah, it's true. Very on theme with our client.
Very. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean,
Yep.
there's a nice rock. There's a nice boulder. I like that boulder. So yeah, you see that is a lot of masonry. For an 11, actually, I will give you that there are some rusty old pipes in amongst this rubble, and definitely some pieces of broken glass you would assume from windows. But really, all you can tell is that this was a tower past tense, and it came the fuck down. Boy, howdy did it.
Well, time for plan B then. And she's gonna hold the stone up to her eye.
Okay, if you take a step back so that you are able to see the entire thing, the tower appears in the little hole that you're looking through, and I'm sure you can take turns.
Oh, that's
to
so
find it.
cool.
And yeah, it's very crooked, very toony villain lair. It's amazing how this was the very secret. No one found this place. Yakuza headquarters, really subtle. You can see it for miles, and it glows at night, and there's always this perpetual lightning storm around it. In fact, that is one of the things that is remaining. The weather out here is not great. It's not pouring down, but it is wet, and you kind of wish that there was a real tower that you could actually be inside of. It's dark, it's miserable, and there used to be this amazing edifice with ghoulish face windows, and you see that mostly it seems to comprise of the 2 stories in the main tower. To the left on the bottom, you can see this gatehouse that used to exist, and you can more or less make out how that room used to be laid out from the squares of the lining walls that you can see remaining. But there is nothing physical here. And very quickly you will realize that you cannot go up the stairs.
Yeah, I was thinking of that.
So,
Yeah.
you have the stone, you
Um,
have basically this. What would you like to do? Is there anything you would like to do?
I think Ida's gonna turn to the unicorns and ask, so, random question. You guys wouldn't happen to know any, like, flying or levitating spells, would you?
I don't know you. No, I've never. I would never. Why would we? Do we look like Pixabay? Perish the thought. And they're both kind of like, we won't say anything that the other person doesn't say. Like, these twins are in it together.
Can I insight them?
I mean, it's entirely up to you. Sure, roll me insight.
Alrighty. 16.
Yeah, at least one of them totally has some form of levitation or flying spell. However, you must remember that this event took place like 3 years ago. It doesn't necessarily mean that they knew that spell then. And also, just because
Fair enough.
just because that is a 16, that's a decent roll, and you are good at insight. You are a very insightful person. You also just you get the idea that these two are exceptionally good at lying, and they are here to waste your time. So they might be making a big deal about something that isn't a big deal at all. Oh, by the way, just as a recap, you have to get back to the trial before sunrise. Otherwise, the jester will render his verdict. At the moment, it is, I think I said it was 1 in the morning last game. So yeah, it's 1 a.m. Sunrise is at about, let's say, 4:30. So, TikTok.
Alright.
Well, I mean, start with what we can do, right? We can go inside the gatehouse and try the rock there,
Yeah, absolutely.
right?
That's true. Alright.
Okay, you go into the gatehouse and you look through the stone. I will confess and try not to be too apologetic. I didn't draw anything. I have been very tired. But if you imagine...
You're fine, Mod.
If you use your
That's completely
imagination...
Listen, you draw so much art for these games, it's totally fine.
Well,
Yeah.
basically, you go into the gatehouse, and the interior of it looks like a gatehouse. It's very bare bones, but there are things like kegs, there are like barrels, there's like a filing system, and interestingly, this is labeled. So I will give you this for free because you would succeed on this. And it seems like the cabinet is labeled fuses, and the top drawer is short fuses, the middle drawer is long fuses, the bottom drawer is very, very, very long fuses.
Well, I'm seeing kegs and I'm seeing fuses. I think murder weapon may be at least a possibility here.
I would encourage you to also roll perception or investigation. I'm giving you the bare bones here. That's without any extra rolls on top of it.
Alright.
All right, let me investigate then. Because I'm better at that than the other one.
Do investigation as well. I got a slightly better mod.
Never mind.
Oh, no worries, Ida got a 15.
Yeah, 8. Nick, you see what I have described and nothing more. For a 15... Right, okay. What you get with a 15 is, remember how
Well, actually, I could put a guidance on that too, to get out a higher one.
It's entirely up to you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason I'm not in charge of the investigation game.
Yeah,
enough.
that's good.
Okay,
Yeah.
5.
Okay, you
18.
definitely see, remember the pipes that were mixed into the rubble? So they are no longer rusty, and they are affixed to the wall. They seem to come down through the ceiling, and there's a strange sort of extra cylinder at the bottom with glass window. And there are sort of pill-shaped metal capsules set next to it that seem to be part of this machine or used with this machine. With an 18, I'm going to say that you recognize this as a pneumatic mail delivery system. So you use a vacuum to pull and sometimes push, not push, but anyway, you get it. You have it's like the old bank message delivery system. And
I know those, yeah.
So what the unicorns were saying about this place being able to function without magic, this is what they mean. Because Chuck often, if not always basically, had this anti-magic force field activated for obvious reasons, he needed a way to communicate with people in the building that was not magical. And you can see on the outside of the building there are this network of veins, these pipes, which were used to deliver messages, and perhaps other things around the building. But at the moment, this is the only pipe sample that you have, and that is your deduction.
Interesting. That does open up some new avenues.
For your beautiful 18, I will also say that this room is absolutely spotless. There is no soot or dirt or dust. It's very clean in here, and it seems very organised. But again, it's very simple. There's a cot at the back, a sort of rudimentary bed for if the guard needed to, like, have a change and, rest while someone else was taking over. But yeah, it's a utility room, basically. There's a sink. Can't go wrong with having a sink in the room. It's always useful.
Just to clarify, it's spotless in the view through the stone, right?
Yeah, it's very clean. And there's as you said, like in terms of kegs, there's no powder anywhere. And in fact, you actually notice that one of the kegs is open. There is nothing inside it.
All right. I was wondering because the kegs could either be gunpowder or it could be like root beer or XXX liquid.
Now you're thinking, yay.
Yeah.
Okay,
this is organized crime. They could be root beer runners.
Oh my goodness, the root beer running scene is severe. Yes. Okay, you have basically seen everything that there is to see in this room. Good job.
Mm-hmm. All right. I kind of want to try and kind of reason with the unicorns again to like see if we can get them on our side.
Sure, go ahead. They are outside in inverted commas and increasingly confused as to what you two are doing and what the object is that you're holding.
Right. Em, do you have any ideas of what you want to say to them? Because I have like kind of an idea, but I'll let you go if you want to. Oh, Sam's muted right now.
Oh, Sam, come back.
So true. Sorry.
Oh, there you are.
You good?
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I was just honestly typing and didn't want to make the noise.
Oh, bless you. That's fine. Oh, that's
okay.
Very
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't have any particular ideas. Although, like, if you want me to relay it, I think, like, out of game, like game wise, I think I have the better persuasion modifier. But aside from that,
that's true. Yeah, my persuasion's a +5. What's yours?
Oh, that's actually pretty good. You probably don't need it. Mine's +6, but that's honestly not that different. So you go ahead.
I mean, it can always like give you help or like or give you guidance, that sort of thing.
No, but I'll give you help because like you have the idea of what you want to say, so that makes
sure. Yeah, I'm down for that.
Sense.
Good on. You can always give Bardic, or well, actually, maybe we might want to save some Bardics for the
I've
trial.
only got one Bardic left.
Yeah, no, we'll save that. We'll save that.
You are going to have to hang on to those because you are not going to be allowed any rest. They are basically here to wear you out. And, even though they are absolutely confident that you have no case and it is impossible, they're also complete shit heels. So they're just going to do this to make your life misery.
All right, so Ida's gonna go up to these guys, and she kind of like does the like take a deep breath, hands clasped together, that sort of thing, like the, the one.
I do.
Okay, look, you don't like us, and we don't like you, but the thing is, you guys want to know what happened to Chuck, right? What really happened to him?
Ooh, roll persuasion. That's a very good tack to take.
Yeah. All right, and I'm going to slap a guidance on that preemptively, so...
Okay. But remember, you're going to come back to court in Act 3, so just keep an eye on...
Well, no, guidances are cantrips, so...
Are they? Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah! Goddamn, cantrips are the best.
Yeah, that's why I'm abusing it so much.
Yes.
Yep.
Spam it. Okay, 13.
Can I use the help action?
So give me advantage on that.
Absolutely. I will say that if you're going to use the help action, you have to say something as well.
Of course. Okay, you want to have Sam say it first, and then I'll roll again?
Yeah.
Look.
Sorry.
This is a win-win for you. either we find something out, or we don't and we look stupid. So either it's, you actually find out the truth about what happened to your friend, or you get to laugh at us. There's not a downside for you here.
Yes, that's the shit. Please roll again. That was so good.
All right.
Mm-hmm. No, there we go.
21, much better.
So
thank you, Griff.
With the first attempt, like that 13 is, they were being very stubborn and, locking arms with each other, if you can do that while you're standing on 4 legs. And they were basically like, union strong, fuck you, you're not going to emotionally manipulate us. But the edge that you gave there, Nick, absolutely, they're like, actually, And the thing is, like, these two are a conniving pair of ponies. One of the reasons that you suspect that they weren't really encouraged to be on the stand was not necessarily that they were completely useless in terms of testimony, but they're not as trustworthy as Noxum, who is a robot who was built by the Jester, who only reiterates what a robot would, which is like basically what they've witnessed or been programmed to say, but we aren't doing that conversation today. These two are wild cannons, absolutely, and they have been Yakuza for a long time. They are professional con ponies. So you really wouldn't trust them to take the stand, would you? They look at each other and they turn around and, whisper to each other conspiratorially, and then they turn around and go, yeah, it's alright. Well, we may have an accord, but we're only going to tell you what we saw, how we saw it. You're not going to get any soft treatment from us. Oh, no, sir.
Well, better than nothing.
That's fine with me.
Alright, so we're gonna question these guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's probably best. Of course.
Alright. So I actually preemptively wrote like a whole list of like questions I wanted to ask these guys.
Boy, okay. Let's go.
And I had a couple.
Alright.
I'm sweating already over here.
Do you want to start by asking about Chuck, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's probably a good place.
Alright. So, about your former boss, Chuck L. Muscle. So, what was he like back when he was alive?
Yeah, what a great man. Oh, yes, what a great orangutan that man was. Just knew how to be a villain, but also just how to be really funny. Yes, funny! Absolutely, you took the words out of my mouth. He's just a really fun guy to be around. Like, even if he had you hung up and you were being tortured, you could get a giggle out of these. He was just... He made you feel glad to be a bad guy. It was like we had a point. We were antagonists, but we weren't nasty. We were just. Everybody needs an instigating sort of thing to get their teeth into, have a bit of a punch up. Sometimes even a backstory comes out of it. It's important. It's part of. What do you call it? It gave people jobs. It gave me and you a job. Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, we had a job and we weren't doing very well at it. But then Chuck picked us up and taught us how to run all these scams properly. And we made so much money out of people who didn't deserve to be robbed. And it felt so good. And, like, they're talking to each other and reiterating all of this stuff. And, like, you can tell, like, as they talk about Chuck, they get more and more animated. And they clearly, like, you don't need to roll insight. You can if you want, but they genuinely liked Chuck. That is coming across very clearly.
Just to interject, you say that the way you talk about it, saying like back then there was a point to it, you were bad guys but you weren't nasty. Do you feel things have changed in a way that you're not satisfied with?
Ooh, okay. They both kind of look at each other with open jaws, and then the jaws shut, and they're like, not necessarily, we were just saying it was very good then. It's very good now, isn't it? Oh yes, it's excellent now. Even better, much more efficient. Oh yes, much more efficient. We're making profits hand over hoof.
Like to roll insight. Oh, bad.
I was about to say, can I roll that too?
Yeah, absolutely. 22, yeah.
Ooh, that's a 22 for Mita.
Uh-huh.
And an 8 from Griffin.
Oh, Nick.
Griff, buddy.
Oh, Griff. I mean, do you want to give me an explanation as to why Nick would roll an 8 there? Like, does he really believe that they are just, like, about the money, and they are making more money than they ever did before?
I think he's just... He finds these people very annoying, and he's not paying enough attention to them.
That is absolutely valid. Like, you know, like, these guys are like if Larry Butts was, like, actually competent, and it's somehow worse. It's just...
and also there's two of them.
And there's two of them, and they finish each other's sentences, and it's just like, oh my god. So, yeah, they are very annoying. With the 22... you absolutely noticed that the tension just, like, shot up. And even though, like, you're alone, as far as you can tell, and as far as they can tell, they are still, like, wary of dissing the current regime. But, you know, just from the contrast of then and now, this is not the same situation that the Yakuza used to be in the heydays of Chuck L. Muscle.
Mm-hmm. I think Ida's gonna try and kind of, like, give them a look, like, sort of like, I get it, but, like, I know you don't want to say it, sort of look.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like they're savvy enough that they will pick up on that, and, yeah, they're just, you know, they're not like, we're cool with you, but they're like, okay, so let's move on.
Yeah. Yep, another one.
Oh, no!
Yes, I have more questions. Surprise.
It is the game for asking questions.
So I've kind of been wondering about sort of what would describe back in court. So the way they described the way Mr. L. Muscle kind of flew into a rage all of a sudden, was he the type to do that? Like, just suddenly, like, become violent like that?
Well, that's very contextual, see. Oh, yes, very contextual. But one thing that would be guaranteed to get his goats, not that he had one. Well, actually, he did. He had some of those. Well, we're not talking about those yet. Anyway, the thing that would really get his back up was if someone refused him, or he felt insulted about something. And clearly this Deltasong danger of yours had absolutely no tact in turning him down after such a generous offer. So, yes, no, things could get rather messy up there. In fact, they did install... Yes, they did install... There was a gutter. Yes, there was a gutter.
What's this about a gutter?
There was a gutter that... Well, the tower was round, you know, and his room was a bit wonky. Yes, very wonky. We made fun of him for that, really. But he liked it that way, you see, because when they put the gutter system inside the room, it meant that everything sort of sloshed to one end of it and went down the drain pipe, you see. And you know, if he really got going, then it saved mopping up quite a lot, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So from this, you glean that the room that Chuck was in was round, but you've already seen that. And there was a gutter on the inside of the room, which presumably ran around the outside of it. I will give you blueprints next game. Maybe, if you deserve them. And because of his somewhat cartoonishly violent proclivities, sometimes there needed to be an easy way to clean the room of presumably red sticky liquid, and it would be drained thus.
You remember if there was some kind of drain to drain it out, or did it all have to get mopped up?
No, that was a drain system. What do we look like, savages? We had a plumbing system, my god. We had gutters on the building on the outside as well. I mean, look how much it rains here, my god.
Yeah, actually, speaking about infrastructure, we couldn't help but notice some of these pipes. They seem to be part of what Ida was describing as a pneumatic sort of mail delivery system. I wonder if you could tell us a bit about that.
They both look astonished that you have somehow figured that out from the rusty ruins. And they just, like, take a moment because they're like, what? How did they figure that? I don't know. Yes, I suppose. I mean, there's no harm in telling you that. Yes, that's exactly how Chuck would send messages from the top of the tower to the jester's room and to the gatehouse and to the front door.
The jester's room?
Well, yes, you didn't just think that he was the only person who lived in this ginormous tower. Well, not that you can tell, I suppose. And you look at the stones around.
So,
Yeah.
the jest... Sorry, go ahead, Ida.
No, she was just gonna ask, like, I've kind of been wondering about him too. I mean, because I'm guessing he was next in line for the position of boss. What did he do before, Chuck died?
Oh, well, he was the number 2, because, of course, Chuck was the number 2, and the old gaffer, what was he called? Some sort of coyote. He didn't talk much before our time. Anyway, Chuck was the second Yakuza boss, and the first Yakuza boss made this very clever rule. I shouldn't talk about that, though, yet. Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. Anyway, so the Jester was the second in command. He was very, very good at organizing things, and Chuck loved that, because Chuck didn't particularly like paperwork. I mean, God, who likes paperwork? Ugh. What do we look like, real crimes? They're just like, You.
Camera pans over to Ida and Griff, who are, well, technically they have some Toon heritage, but they are real kind, so...
Yeah, no, they don't give a shit. And they're just like, yeah, disgusting. Anyway, so, yes, the Jester was to do with all of that sort of side of things and keeping track of all the money and lists of people. But really, quite often, he used to do experiments. Man is a great scientist. He used to do all sorts of strange things in there. We weren't allowed in. But, he was quite conscious of his safety as well. Always used to have a guard posted outside. Used to have to wear earplugs sometimes. The laughter, oh my god.
Who was the Jester's guard? Was the Jester's guard... Oh, first of all, was the Jester there on the day in question? And it also was his guard there.
On the evening, that was me. And Scam is the one raising a hoof and saying, I was guarding the Jester's room. And Skim, you were on the front door, weren't you? Yes, that was me on the front door all night in the rain. Lucky you. Yes, lucky me. Well, it was your turn, I suppose.
Well, going off of that, you were manning the front door, so you would have known, like, who would have gotten in and out of the building through the front door, right?
No, yes, and I have to say, Noxum's testimony was bang on. It was only him and Delta that went in. Of course, before that, Chuck and the Jester had gone in, but nobody else.
So, did you see the Jester leave before the time of the murder?
No, he was in there all night, and, Scam, you were outside his door the whole time. Yes, I was stuck listening to that infernal chatterbox talking to himself and walking around. Oh, there was one part where he laughed. Actually, it was just, Anyway, it's just not anybody's favorite job listening to that very intelligent, savvy, clever person, and it was our job not to listen to it, really, but it was very difficult. He's very fond of his own voice. I don't know if you'd noticed that.
Yeah, no, we noticed.
But really, he sounded like he was just up to his usual stuff, tinkering with his toys and writing and, God knows what. But then there was the whole tower coming down, so we all ran for it and met up outside to watch it come down.
And you guys did see the Jester running out with you guys, right? He was there as you watched the tower go down?
Oh, my goodness, yes, we wouldn't have heard the end of it. I mean, I would have gone up the stairs to get Chuck, only the stairs were coming down and Noxum with them, so I thought, sod it.
I'm gonna message Cantrip to Ida.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, good call.
So, just to touch base here. Mad scientist with a pneumatic delivery system and a chance for advancement if Chuck died.
Yeah, it's lining up pretty well, I'd say.
I'm going to roll insight. How do I do that? Is that ! roll D something?
Yeah, it's exclamation mark R and then space and then D20 or D whatever you're rolling.
Thank you.
I roll a deception check because.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah. Let me grab the spell for message just so we can in the same page of like
I
what
do
exactly
think I
it
have
looks
to
like.
whisper it, but I would like
Right.
to.
Yeah. That's
I'd like to roll a deception to try and hide it. If
well,
that's
you're
okay.
kind of standing
Well-
right in front of them, so beat that 21.
Fair enough.
I'll try. I've got
You're like right
numbers.
fucking there. 17.
Okay.
I mean, to be fair,
They can't hear what we're saying, they just know we're whispering.
No, with the 21, these ponies can lip read. So yeah, they were watching you very closely and were quite aware of what you're doing because they're magical fucking ponies. They're unicorns. They know what you're doing. They're like, oh,
Fair
there's
enough.
the old message cantrip, very subtle, but joke's on you because there's a very strict rule. In fact, it's the first rule of the Yakuza, isn't it? Oh yes! Anybody who kills the Yakuza boss cannot ever be a Yakuza boss. The first Yakuza boss was very clever coming up with that one, otherwise we would have had many more before, wouldn't we?
Well, here's my question. What if nobody knew that they killed a Yakuza boss? What if they set up a fall guy?
Well, of course that would be possible, I suppose, but it was impossible. He was in the room the whole time, there was no magic. It couldn't have been him. Anyway, the tower nearly knocked him out, so as far as I can tell, the poor jester got the worst end of it.
There was no magic, so perhaps the explosion had to be scientific in nature. But anyway, we can move on.
Well, you tell me how he managed to murder someone in the floor above him without ever leaving his own room and the windows didn't open. Mr. Smart Guy.
The pneumatic cubes?
Oh, yeah, okay. So how does the jester manage to curl himself up and squeeze through a pipe? No! And they just this is the most ridiculous bullshit.
I
but we're doing our
just put
job.
a time bomb through there or something.
Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, you're gonna have to really come up with something because they both think this is ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. And their biggest reason for supposing this is because anybody who was already in line to inherit the Yakuza throne would never jeopardize their possibility of doing so by, killing the boss. Especially someone as loved and frankly very strong as Chuck. It's to them, this is ludicrous. This is a complete left field. You have to be clutching at straws to have come up with this line of inquiry.
I mean, Jester didn't seem quite so broken up about Chuck's death as the rest of the crowd in that tent. I think he pointed that out a few times, right?
You don't have to like your boss. You can just live with them for a lot of years, and anyway, he's the new boss. Anybody would be thrilled about it.
Well,
I mean, put it this way. As much as I liked the old guy, if he popped his clogs and then we were next in line, oh, I'd be throwing a party every day, wouldn't you? Oh, yes! Sorry, that's the breaks in the Yakuza. We're just a little bit mean.
Fair enough.
At this point, I would like to say that time is ticking on. What would you like to do?
Right. I think a good step next might be to try and get up to the upper levels, because I have a theory about them, being able to hear the Jester through the room.
Okay.
So
You once again go to...
maybe they weren't hearing.
You go
Yeah.
to the
So-
ruinous rubble at the bottom of the tower that has no stairs. What would you like to do?
So out of character, one idea is just for Ida to just straight up be like, hey, want to see something cool, and let one of them look through the stone.
I mean, do you
To
do
prove
that? Ask your
I
friends.
have one way I could maybe do. Yeah, Sam, if you're cool with that.
yeah, I mean, I guess at this point we've kind of tipped our hand that we are.
Right.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay. You invite the ponies to look through the stone, I guess?
I was gonna say just as a way to kind of tie it all together, because do you think they would have been asking how did you guys know, how were you able to figure it out, the whole pneumatic tube, just from the rubble? They'd be wondering about that, or
they're being very cagey and taciturn. Like, they weren't particularly instructed to question you, but they are going to pull that card if they need to waste more time, which they absolutely were about to.
fair enough.
But they are very tempted by the prospect of seeing through the stone.
Yeah.
Okay, do they?
Yeah. So yeah, she'll hold it up to them. She's gonna keep a very, very tight grip on the stone, though. Like she's holding it in her hand and like holding it up to like Scam's eye, because she doesn't want them to steal it.
Sweet Celestina, would you look at that? Get out of the way, it's my turn. Oh, my pony, what is this? What is this? What?
Just our secret weapon that we use for investigating.
How is that? That's a very... I mean, I don't know what to say. Do you know what to say? No, I don't know what to say, and I know what to say for a living, so that's saying something. I say, look, what's over there? And I want you to... roll Dex or something to prevent your stone being stolen by these ponies who desperately want it now.
Let's see. It would just be straight Dex. I'm trying to think, like, what else it would be.
I will be rolling sleight of hand while this is happening.
Fair enough. I want to say, because we're technically real kind, can we get advantage because we're not toons and thus, like, not as beholden to the bit as full-blooded toons would be?
Not at all. I'm not letting you have that. This is real game.
Fair enough. I had to try. So. Okay, so that's a Dex.
It's a bad roll.
So just, like, straight Dex. Right.
Unlucky 13.
Okay, yeah. That's just straight D20.
Oh, by a hair. I feel like this is one of those... Oh, yeah. Go. What?
I'm going to expend my last use of Bardic Inspiration to cutting words, 1d8 minus from an ability check from a creature I see.
No, you don't need to. You don't need to.
You don't need to. I beat it.
A 14 is
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You've won.
And I beat it by 1 point, so...
Absolutely.
Sorry, I thought it was the other way around.
No,
I
it's fine. You're good. You're golden. That's very sweet of you. But no, there's the scene where, you know, one of them gets it from you, and then he gets it back, and then the other one gets it from you, and then Nick gets it back, and then one of the ponies stands on Nick's foot, and it flies up in the air, and he's like, and eventually, out of this dust cloud, Ida emerges victorious, and you safely put your stone in a very precious place, and they cannot get it anymore because the rules of the dice say so. And they lie on the floor looking very sulky, but like, we were that close. That thing must be worth a fortune.
Yeah, it's like 500 gold, I think. But anyway.
What?
Give me. Elbows Griffin aside. She elbows him to the side, like, don't tell them that.
As you pull Griff aside, you feel your heart sink because you've been looking in the opposite direction at this tower this entire time, and now you are facing east, and you are looking at the horizon, and you see that there is a very thin band of light, and you're panicking because that looks like sunrise. And it's just, recalling that one of the key stipulations of this task is to return to the trial before sunrise. You're just like, oh god. But the two unicorns also seem equally surprised, and Skim withdraws a pocket watch to check the time, holding it to his ear and shaking it as though it seems to have broken. And this bright band of light, just gentle and warm, seems to approach you as the glow from the horizon increases from a thin stripe of pale yellow to the rich gold of autumn, the stark white of snowfall, then into green, the fresh green light of young spring leaves, and finally the brilliant deep green of summer meadows. It is the green of the sun shining through clover. And I would like Liz to enter the game. Hello, Liz! Would you like to introduce yourself and who you're playing today?
Hello, my name is Liz, and today I will be playing the illustrious, infamous, and ever-graceful Lady Luck. In her clover glory, she arrives in the lights with a big old smile on her face and looks around.
So, welcome to the stage one of the deities of the Toonkind pantheon. This is Lady Luck, often known as Lalu. And I was going to suggest that we take a little break here for 5 minutes, but we can continue if you would all like to. It's entirely up to you.
I'm good, unless you guys need a break. I'm fine taking like a 5-minute break, if everyone else needs to.
I wouldn't say
fine
no, just
if
come
anyone
back.
else needs to.
Well, actually, I mean, I'm gonna like hop off for a little bit because you know, I'm not the boss here anymore. I will just very quickly introduce Lady Luck. So she is gorgeous. She's this larger than life. In fact, it's very hard to tell where she is. Sometimes you think it's a trick of perspective, like she's like the same height as Nick, but then she could be as tall as a mountain. It's very hard to tell where she is in your field of perception. She's a big green dog, wears a very traditional, you know, like think Greek Fortuna dress. It's white with gold trim. Her lower half, she has the hindquarters of a horse with golden horseshoes. She also has golden horseshoes on the end of her ears. She wears a blindfold, and there are clovers, 4-leaf clovers growing in her big, beautiful bouffant green hair. And she seems very happy to see you because her tail is wagging.
Aww.
Yeah, she's a puppy.
Yeah.
I mean, she is a dog.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, you don't know exactly who this is because, like, she's a cleric. I mean, she doesn't worship Lalu, of course, but she'd probably know about, like, you know, local gods and, like, that sort of thing, right?
I will ask you to roll religion to know how much about this god you know. But she is one of the better known
All right.
ones, so yeah, absolutely.
All
Nick,
right.
Nick, how do you feel about religion? Do you know any of the Toonkind pantheon?
Griffin knows, like, whatever he's heard from Ida about specifically her god, the Holy Mother. And then other than that, nothing.
Okay, so you are completely bamboozled by the appearance of this really lovely Toonkind creature. And why she's emitting so much light. That's weird, huh? Very strange. The angelic chorus from nowhere as well. Very, very odd. The fact that the 2 unicorns have gone down on bended knee. Even stranger. But maybe she's part of the Hikuza. You don't know. Maybe she's one of the other
Yeah, that I was gonna say that, like, with the nat 20 that Ida rolled, she knows exactly who this is. She is gonna, like, bow down as well.
Yes, absolutely. So with a natural 20, Lalu is part of the Luck Trinity, which comprises of Misfortune, the Wishing Star, and Lady Luck. Lady Luck is the end of the process, as it were. If Misfortune is the instigation, the bargain, as we say, and then the Wishing Star is the work, is hoping, is wishing, which is a sort of work, as Delta will tell you at great length. Lady Luck is the payout, is the result, and is often mistakenly talked about as if she is solely the goddess of good luck. But with a natural 20, you understand that she is the result of what you wish for. And that's not always what you thought it was going to be. And it's not always what you want, but it's usually what you need. Okay, so she's here. I'm gonna just, like, step out for 5 minutes. Y'all get to know each other. I will be back, Liz. Don't panic.
All right.
But I do trust you explicitly. And thank you again for agreeing to play this character. I am so happy. I'm so happy we got to make this happen. Yay. Okay, I'm gonna be right back. Y'all have fun now.
You're stuck with me now. Hi.
It's so good to have you, Liz. This is so cool. I was not expecting, like, freaking Lalu to show up. This is amazing.
A literal god is here. Okay, wow.
Just another day in Inkwell. Well, with the ponies bowing and Ida also bowing, you get this very green and bright dog with hooves also bowing, or she's more so like bending over and trying to look at you guys bowing. She's like, "Hello." You don't need to do that. She's tails wagging faster as Puppy Brain engages as play. Oh wait, no, stand up.
And Ida will like hurriedly stand up again. Oh, sorry. You're God, what would the honorific be for this? Your Holiness. Oh, sorry, your Holiness. It's it's an honor to be in your presence. Yeah, you can tell Lalu, this cleric is a bit nervous because you're a flippant god and like.
No, it's
Ida,
okay.
You know who this, message cantrip. Ida, you know who this is? Who is this? I don't.
Ida kind of like turns to Griffin, like kind of gives him like a really surprised look, like you don't. She's the flippin'. She's the goddess of luck. This is Lady Luck herself.
Oh. Oh.
Wait with her
My
fingers.
apologies.
That's okay.
Hi, I'm Griffin left. I think. So you must be here because of Delta, right? Because he's.
No. Yes, yeah. Yes. You two have been doing so much good work. I appreciate all of the little lawyer stuff that you've been doing to keep Delta from getting into trouble.
Thank you. We're trying our best, and I think Ida's doing like kind of the shy little like kind of like tapping the two index fingers together thing. She's doing that now.
No. It's Ken. It's been a weird 30 minutes, 30 years for 3 years. 3 years. It's been a weird 3 years.
Wait, so are you here to help us then? Is that why you're here?
You could say it's I've been trying to I've kept my distance a little bit from Delta, but due to his very fervent prayers from the earlier today, I thought I could help a little. I mean, he has been going through quite an ordeal, and it seems to be a very similar ordeal you had there, Ida. But
I think she kind of stiffens up a little bit, like kind of like nervously glances to the side. I mean, she kind of stutters for a minute. I mean, like Delta's the one in trouble right now, so we should be worrying about him, right?
yes, well, it's no good if you're falling into pieces yourself. Again, you're one of the people that are helping Delta, and it's good to have people who can help, but also people who feel confident and, all of that. I'm sorry that your call earlier didn't work, but,
No,
you shouldn't beat yourself up.
No, it's okay, Your Holiness. I'm and she hesitates for a moment before she says, I'm fine, really. And Griffin.
Hi, I'm
no, Griffin. Yeah, I'm gonna say Griffin. You don't even like need to roll insight on her because you hear like the familiar clinking of chains around her, and I don't know if like Lala would be able to hear this because goddess and all, but yeah, Griffin would definitely be able to hear this.
I think Lalu's able to see it.
Probably, yeah.
Taps at one of the chains and tilts her head like a puppy dog, questioning.
Yeah, you guys see the chains. Griff would have to get his Magatom out to like see this, but you would see that there are chains surrounding Ida, and you see a pair of red locks like hanging next to her as well.
Oh no.
Yep.
Does Lalu get to play the game?
Griffin...
Oh my god, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
Griffin does. I don't know. Would Griffin take out like? Well, but Lalu's already seen them, so yeah, he would. because he doesn't necessarily know if he would be comfortable doing this in front of Lalu, but Lalu's already seen, so it's kind of a moot point.
Yeah, I mean, she's tapping at the chain, so it seems like she can see him.
Yeah. So, like, Griffin, just to, like, show, what Lalu's tapping at, will sort of hold the Magatama out sheepishly.
Yeah, and Ida kind of, like, she just kind of, like, glances at the ground, like, slightly ashamed, and says, I was afraid of that. But, look, that's not important right now. I mean, we don't have a lot of time. We gotta focus back in on the investigation, right? I mean, this might be our only chance to save Delta, right? And, you guys can insight, what she just said.
I feel like Lalu would definitely have something ridiculous, like a +15 to this, because she's a goddess.
I'd say so, yeah.
Like, she
Okay, that's it. I'm gonna fittingly enough use lucky.
Okay, that's good, yeah.
That was the time.
That was the time.
Oh,
17, that'll do it, yeah.
Oh, it's !R, then a gap.
I got it.
Yeah. Woo!
31, there we go.
The rolls from the deities, yes!
There we go. So yeah, so both of you definitely get this. So yeah, Ida specifically said, this might be our only chance to save Delta. And, of course, you guys would know that she failed at the channeling, so you guys can put together that right now she honestly believes that, like, there's no way she could possibly do that. Like, even if she tried again, she's certain that she'd fail. And that's probably why she's, like, avoiding the subject and, like, wanting to focus on the investigation, because she's convinced that, like, she can't do anything, so the only thing she can do to help now is to, like, find more clues.
My heart.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously it's true that we have to investigate right now. We have to save Delta, but I mean, this literal goddess here is right. We can do that best if we're at the top of our game. If we're confident in our if we're, I mean, I don't want to just say that. If we're, I feel like, I mean, I don't know, but you obviously know more about it than me, but I've watched you channel a lot, and I know how important it is to you, and I know how risky it can be at the same time, and I don't think that you being unable to do that under those circumstances was an indication of a failing in your ability or your connection. I think it's just that it was a very difficult situation channeling someone who, I mean, again, we both know what happens when you channel someone who is dangerous like this guy is, and you can't be blamed if you were concerned about that, and I don't think this was a failing.
Yeah, now Griff, you're right on the money. You see, when you mention, channeling someone dangerous, you see one of the locks is starting to rattle, so it seems like you're on the right track. And I think Ida responds with, I mean, I know it's dumb. I shouldn't be worried about this anymore. I mean, we got the Magatama parting for this exact reason, so in case the worst happened, but I'm just, I mean, when I heard about, the way, Chuck, suddenly jumped at Delta, and I'm afraid, what if he does something like that with both my body, and he ends up hurting somebody, and she's starting to get a little bit choked up, but you can definitely see, seems to be the crux of, one of the psyche locks is around. Being afraid of, channeling Chuck because he's dangerous.
Yeah, and honestly, that's fair. I mean, I think if we were to try again, and I'm not sure we should, but if we were, we'd have to take better precautions. I mean, we have the Magatama of parting, but you're absolutely right. That's dependent on my reflexes versus this extremely fast and dangerous criminal. Like, we shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have asked you to do that without.
No, I mean,
Without-
it's not your fault. I mean, we were both kind of backed into a corner there, and I mean, I said yes too, so it's not all on you for that.
No, but it's. I'm not trying to take all the blame for. I'm not trying to make this about me. But
Mm-hmm.
no, it's. I'm just saying, going forward, like, you're absolutely right. We should take more precautions, and
Mm-hmm.
I I don't know what form those take, but
I'm wondering if, like, do Skim and Scam have anything to add to this? Because
They
they're
are
talking
just-
about, like, channeling Chuck.
They immediately went into sort of fealty kneeling pose when this goddess appeared, and now they're just standing there like it's like watching a tennis match, and their jaws are just fully open, like they're just like, what is happening here? Because one thing that you don't know about these two is they are very superstitious. A lot of criminals are very superstitious, and this is someone that they know about, and they've just been like kind of in a haze. They can barely hear what's being said, and whether that's just from their own confusion or maybe a certain deity's influence because they don't really deserve to be a part of her presence, that's up to you to decide. But if you want to re-invite them into this conversation, you will basically have to shake them out of a stupor, because they are just like, huh? They are fully, for the first time in their lives, speechless.
Nice. Yeah.
Hey.
I don't know, Lalu, do you want to say anything to them, or?
I don't know if it's going to be. I think Lalu has been giving either a very confident and patient look, like when a nice like dog like sit next to you to try and just gently comfort you in this moment, because Griff definitely has Griff definitely has the handle on this so far. I think from Skim and Scam's perspective, it just looks like Lalu's just looking at them.
That would be
She's just
so
looking at
scary.
them.
Oh my god.
It's just no real malice, but there's no. She's just smiling and looking.
The fact that she's wearing a blindfold and looking dead ass at them as well is so scary.
yeah.
There's definitely some knee knocking now. It's like, oh god, it was him. No, it was him. It was him. It was always his idea.
I guess I do have a thing to ask them, honestly. Hey, you two.
What?
Skim and Scam.
Huh? Me? Was that my name? Yes. I suppose it was. Yes.
So, as we all obviously know, it's one of the rules of the Yakuza courtroom that no one can be killed during the proceedings. Do you have a way to enforce that? Do you have a way to prevent... Like, I'm not talking about, like, after-the-fact enforcement. Is there anything that prevents that from being possible during the events? Do you have anything in place?
That's good.
On the whole, it's usually the court, all the people. Union strong. Just still looking at this goddess, just like, ha. At the moment, they are telling you the complete truth. They rely on the mass of people who are all very expert at murdering people to prevent other people from murdering. But yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, and that's actually works because, yeah, Ida kind of, like, puts this together now, and I think if we were going by the game rules, you probably would have presented the evidence of, like, that rule, the no, like, killing or harming rule in the court. And she would have said, that's true, and, I mean, if Chuck was a former boss, then he'd probably know that rule, too, and he'd definitely follow that one, too, so... I guess if he has to follow that rule, then I wouldn't have to worry about him trying anything while I'm channeling him. And you guys hear a shattering sound. Well, those of you who can see the psyche locks, and one of the locks is broken, so there's only one left now.
Woo!
Bye-bye, lock.
Is that one of the ponies? Okay. Yeah, so there's only one lock left, which means there's only like one more thing that's bothering her and kind of like holding her back from like thinking she'd be able to do this channeling.
So you know how this works, Ida. There's one left, and I don't know off the top. I don't. Is there? But you're hiding it, so you wouldn't tell me. Are you concerned about? I know in the past there have been times when you have been concerned about your ability to channel due to whatever circumstances, inexperience, or not having the necessary tools to conduct proper meditations and that sort of thing. When you were away from Karine, or is it called Karine? What's it called?
Kurian. I think I said Kurian. It's like spelled slightly
Kurian.
different.
Anagram of.
Is that the sort of situation here, or am I completely off base?
No, that's I think I might have figured out like one of the things that's been bugging me. It's right before with the channeling. There was something that the jester said, and I think if we're going by Ace Attorney rules, this would now be the point where we have like the black and white flashback to that's in the court. Yeah, so we see that scene of the jester saying, "Oh, so you're one of those sylphs."
Oh, it's about.
Yeah,
so it's about your mother.
She nods and she kind of wraps her arms around herself and kind of curls in on herself a little bit. Yeah, I think I figured it out now. What was bothering me so much about that when he said that? I don't think he was talking about the fact that my family are famous spirit mediums. I think he might have been talking about EL6 and what happened with Mom.
Yeah.
It just... There's so much I'm responsible for now. I mean, when Sis passed along the title of head of the family to me, I wanted to accept it because I wanted to do that for her. She needed to go off and become a lawyer. She had her own reasons, and I was proud to be head of the family. It was an honor, but I don't know, I guess there is kind of a lot of pressure on me, but I have to live up to that name, and the fact that I couldn't do that channeling in front of that crowd, that I just froze up. I mean, if I can't do something as simple as that, then how can I ever hope to, become a fully fledged spirit medium like that? And I think her shoulders are starting to shake a little bit as she's getting a little bit more distraught.
I'm actually going to encourage Nick to make an insight roll. And I'll explain it in a second, if you roll well. Yeah, 19 will do it.
Okay.
Just because of what you have just been told again and what has instigated this source of anxiety. And Nick, you have had to deal with so many people who are so full of shit and so good at misdirecting and causing problems. And you're also very defensive of your partner here. You understand her and you don't want people to hurt her. And just from what you've heard about him and what you've witnessed him doing, you're now pretty damn sure that the jester threw her off her game on purpose.
Ita, I think that. Sorry, I think that the jester. You're absolutely right. The jester was trying to invoke that memory and those situations in you. I think he was doing everything in his power to prevent you from succeeding there.
You really think so?
Yes, I mean, if we're right, channeling Chuck L. Muscle could be, it would be disastrous for him, right? So he would have had to do everything he could to make sure that you couldn't do that. And I mean, again, like, I don't think anyone can blame you for, like, there's definitely a history of what happens in channeling during legal circumstances, and bringing up that memory in particular to try and knock you out of it. I think he knew exactly what he was doing.
Oh, you're right. That does make a lot of sense. I mean, I guess I didn't realize it because he approved the channeling, but I figured it was just the crowd psyching me out. Maybe he did do something to me. That would explain why it felt so much harder than usual. So if that's the case, maybe it's not my own abilities like lacking or something. Maybe there's more to it then, and maybe I can do this if I give it another shot. And when she says that, you hear another shattering sound, and the other lock is gone, and the rest of the chains recede. Congratulations, you have busted through her psyche locks.
Yeah! Go team! Even
Yay!
scam help. I did not expect that.
Yeah!
Also, Lewis,
Oh, man,
I
I wish
see
I'd
that
taken some
drawing
damage so I could
dying.
make a jump.
So fucking funny.
Mhm.
Oh my god, that's going in the video.
I think you can. I'm almost sure of it. I mean, the situations you've done channeling under before have been incredible, and the channeling I don't doubt your ability for a second. I think that you were sabotaged, and I think that going in knowing that will make a world of difference.
Yeah, thanks, Griff. I think I really needed to hear that. And she's gonna give you a hug, because I think you both really need one right now.
Oh,
Yeah, Griffin will hug as well.
Aw.
cute.
Does Lalu actually say cute? Because I'm gonna die.
Yes,
Yes!
absolutely,
Aw.
absolutely.
Look at those mortals. Aw.
Yeah.
I think Ida blushes a little bit because, like, oh gosh, the big pretty goddess just called her cute. Thank you, Your Holiness, and thank you for I guess making me do that. I shouldn't have been denying what I was feeling.
I didn't do anything. You guys did the work. It's very, very good to see. Well, yes, you should have a little bit more faith in yourself and think about what is required and just that, and ignore anything else.
And she gives you a very firm nod. She definitely seems to have gotten her confidence back now, so I think she's gonna be all right.
Just looks around this destroyed tower.
I don't suppose that you have goddess. I don't suppose you have any light spells that you could help us out with here. I mean, we're just under a little bit of time pressure, and we've got some stuff we need to look at.
I think I could do one better, but I think there would be a cost to it.
That honestly tracks, yeah.
Yeah, no, makes sense. Can't really get a boon from a goddess for free.
No offense intended, especially not you.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Hands up, just like no harm done. But yes, we gods usually require sacrifices, as scary as the word may be to mortals. We follow a kind of rule, which is that is what was made of the stuff of gods must be returned unto gods.
Oh, do you want the stone? Because, like, celestial, is that...
There's a
anything?
small smile on her face, and she reaches out her hand.
Ooh. Ida kind of glances down at the stone and says, I mean, If we gave it to you, would we be able to give it to you after the investigation? Because we kind of need it. Otherwise, we won't be able to see anything when we can get up there.
And we won't be able to steal it and sell it, and we definitely want to sell it, please. Can we have it?
I mean, it's a lot of money, and... Oh, actually, the Screw McContra might pay us. He said he would cover legal fees, so we might get paid for this job. That's nice.
She laughs a little, but her face kind of settles into a almost like a stroppy but playful frown, and her hand is still out.
Nope, never mind. I never said anything. It was all him. It was always you.
Oh, see, out of character, I'm picking up that, like, if we give her this stone, like, maybe there's, like, another way we'll be able to see the crime scene again, like, without the stone or something. Like, it's more than just, like, giving us the ability to fly, which would be kind of useless without the stone. Am I getting that, like, correct, or?
I'm not giving you anything, and she's not giving you anything. You have to trust.
Fair enough.
You have to trust, and that is what Delta has had to
Alright.
relearn what to do. So this is the goddess that requires faith, asking you to give her your faith.
Alright. I think Ida kind of, like, exchanges a glance with Griff, like if he's down for this, then she is. Like, if this is, their best option, so.
Honestly, I don't think, like, you see certainty in Griff. He's not someone who ever really has faith in things other than obviously, like, the client, but
Right.
I don't think he has that certainty, no. Like, I think he's like, it's your call, but he is not necessarily fully comfortable with this.
Fair enough. Yeah, Ida's definitely got a little bit of hesitation too, because this is a one of a kind item, and if this doesn't work out, then like they're kind of screwed. But I think she knows, she's just kind of had her own faith kind of reaffirmed, so she's got to take a bit of a gamble on this. So, fitting with the goddess of luck. Yeah. Yeah, she takes a deep breath, and she's gonna place the stone in Lalu's hand.
It sits in her palm, and it's scary to put your trust in things. Well, let's get to this. And she flicks the stone and like a coin in the air, and she catches it, and she starts trotting towards the broken door of the tower. Come on, this way.
Ida will follow after.
Yeah. We've anted up. Might as well see it through,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she starts walking away from Skim and Scam, past the tower's edge, further and further and further and further and further and further and further until the base of this desolate, crumbled ruin is far in the background. She then levels the stone so the hole is framing the to-be tower, which is just nothing but rocks. She then stands next to it in that weird perspective manner, and then she turns the stone so it's horizontal, raising it up and over the tower in perspective, gently lowering it down, threading the stone over it like a bead on a needle, and slowly the tower reappears, real and solid, rendered as the murder scene precisely as it was at the moment of Chuck's passing. The tower has been restored.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I'm just freaking out because that was the coolest thing ever. Yeah, Ida is just absolutely gobsmacked right now. Her mouth is hanging open at this.
Holy yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot better than a fly spell.
Yeah, that was totally worth it. Yeah.
And I think she's gonna turn to Lalu and do another polite half at the waist bow and say, thank you so much for this, Your Holiness. We'll make sure to make good use of this boon.
The wind blows. You're bowing to no one.
Oh, dang.
Lalu has left the building. Intact, in fact. Skim and Scam are just like full on fainting point at this, like, what the hell? And I'm gonna leave the game there because I feel like that's a really good break point, and we will pick up your real investigation of the crime scene, just, you know, perfectly intact as it was the moment after Chuck had died. Thank you very much for playing. Liz, you did amazing. Thank you so much for steering.
Yeah, thank you, Liz. That was
deity.
amazing.
You were very godly. I was in awe. Thank you.
Mhm.
Super
Thank you
good.
so much.
Yes.
And yeah, that Psyche Lock stuff was incredible. Thank you. That was so.
Thank you guys for indulging me that, because like I thought about it like after the end of the game, I was like, no, this needs to happen.
I was
like,
secretly hoping it would, and you did not disappoint. Thank you.
thank you.
Yo, so good. Oh, this was really fun. I hope you don't mind me leaving this on a cliffhanger, but I just feel it'll be tidier if we do all of the investigation in its own separate game, and that means my brain won't die.
No, this is perfect.
There's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot for you to investigate now. Yay! Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you all for listening.
Alrighty.
Thank you all for playing. Everybody want to say goodbye?
Hi, everyone.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much, and we'll join you next time on part 2 of Act 2, which is more clumsy sounding than I hoped it would be. Okay, goodbye!